All right, we're gonna give this another shot. We tried to adjust some technical problems and see if we couldn't get this straightened out. That was a mess, and I just had to kill it because we were just not communicating whatsoever. So we've got Lee coming in now, and I know it wasn't from like too many people joining. It was just the weirdest damn thing. Here was happening, but I think we've got it licked this time.
Okay.
All right, I can hear
Okay.
you. You can hear me.
You're doing great.
No, I'm doing terrible.
All right, take it from the top.
Yeah, we're gonna start from the top, Lee.
Okay.
So you're running for the rerunning for the Area 7
Right.
area director role. So the question I asked you last time, we'll start again, is what does Area 7 encompass?
Area 7 encompasses the New England states and the state of New York. And of course, that's, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts.
Oh, well, you pronounce that differently than I do. I use all the T's. I think that's not something a New Englander does. Okay, so the next question is, how long have you been doing practical shooting sports? Maybe not even just USPSA.
I've been doing practical shooting since 2011.
Okay, so that's when you started shooting USPSA.
Yes, that's also when I started to shoot.
Oh, really?
I had never
you didn't
fired
do much shooting before then.
I had never, other than Boy Scout camp, I had never fired a handgun until 2011.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's
basically a friend. I'd inherited my dad's 1911, and a friend took me to a family fun shoot at their farm in Detroit, Maine, and I had a blast. And I decided to get involved in shooting, and that's how it happened.
Found your way to this sport. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, so you've done more than just be the area director. So what was your volunteerism leading up to being area director for Area 7?
After I shot my second match, I found myself as the match director of Maine Practical Shooters in Augusta, Maine. And was match director, became a range officer, CRO, volunteering, going around New England shooting. Somehow got picked to work nationals down in Frostproof about 8 or 9 years ago. Entered the range master program, became a range master a few years ago, and that's how it happened.
So you just kind of climbed the whole ladder. You went all the way through the range master corps and ended up as Area 7 area director.
That's it.
Okay, all right. So I mean, as a range master, you've worked nationals as a range master or as a CRO?
I've worked nationals as a RO, as a CRO, and I've been range master at level 2 and level 3 matches.
Okay. So did you range master your own Area 7 or did you range master other area matches?
I've range mastered my Area 7 match. Last year, though, I was lucky that we had 2 other RMs do that job, and I got to ride around in the golf cart saying hi to people.
It's a lot more relaxing of a job, though, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what have you done to improve the sport since you've been with the sport, other than the range mastering thing?
Well, I think the most important thing any of us can do is to identify enthusiastic people who are smart, have a talent, and mentor them as range officers and CROs to keep the sport going, and to give support to the most important person in our sport, which is a local match director.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, it is the local people that make the sport happen. And if you don't have a match director you've got to have a local match director that's trained, enthusiastic, and not getting burnt out to keep the sport going.
So to do that, you travel around and visit a lot of your range masters.
Or
I'm sorry, match directors.
Yes, and I deliberately try to squad with people I don't know when I shoot matches, and make those connections. It's so easy to just go and you know 3 or 4 people and you're friends with them and you squad with them, but I mean, half the fun of the sport is the people in the sport and getting to know new people.
And now, I mean, so of your area, how many of the local clubs do you usually get to?
Well, last
Usually
year,
being like within a year, how many
yeah,
do you usually
okay.
get around to?
Well, last year I shot 29 matches, and I would say that was probably a third of the clubs in Area 7. It's tough to get out to New York State. I've been to 2 matches at Lipsa, and of course the match, level 2 match in New York City a couple of weekends ago. I'm heading out to the New York State Championship match in northern New York in, I believe it's August.
Okay, so you do get around to your area. You're not just relying on people from your local region. You get around.
I get around, yes.
Well, I've got that
It,
on record now.
yeah,
We'll use
I
that
mean,
soundbite later on.
yeah, but I mean, it's a great thing. It's not only part of the responsibility of the area director; it's part of the enjoyment of it.
Sure. Well, yeah, and the responsibility part is actually getting out and listening to the people in your area.
Yes, and by the way, they're not shy.
Oh, I would no, especially the New Yorkers. I imagine they're really, they keep everything real close to their chest, don't they?
Right? Yeah.
All right. So, when you've been area director now, is it one term? So 4 years?
3.5 years as of right now, and I've been vice president for since January.
Right. And so when you went in for the last, your first term in there, did you have a goal when you went in there? And did you reach that goal that you went in for?
The goal, of course, the first few months is to make sure I have an understanding of the job and my fellow area directors. Uh, Pretty quickly, I was asked to chair the committee, which ended up revising the bylaws of USPSA. And that is probably the hardest work and the major accomplishment that I went through during my 3 years.
So, but that didn't seem, I mean, the way you described it didn't seem like it was I was going in to revise the bylaws.
No, but I became aware. I became aware shortly after I joined the board that that needed to be looked at.
Okay. So I back to the original question is,
Yeah,
I mean, to
I
run
did.
for this office, to do this job,
Yeah,
I imagine that there was some sort of driving force there. What was that?
yeah. Well, basically, I did it because I wanted to contribute to the sport. I had no specific agenda doing it. Dave Bold, who was my predecessor, due to some life changes, had to step down. And I basically told him that I would be interested in doing it if if he was going to step down, and that's how I came into it. Really, didn't come in with an agenda or specific expectations.
Okay. So it
Yeah,
was more just about just trying to help the sport, make sure that the slot was filled. Um, what about this time around? I mean, you're running again, and this time was it unopposed last time? I don't
it was
recall.
unopposed. In fact, to my knowledge, I don't think there's ever been 2 people running for Area 7 director.
Oh, so this gets to be the new time, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I think
So,
the couple of predecessors ago, Rob Boudry was area director for a number of terms. I don't think he ever had opposition either.
hmm. So I guess the question is now that there's somebody else that's also interested in the job, is it kind of the same thing? You're just wanting to continue to support, or is there something that you feel is like
Yeah.
maybe left undone?
Well, obviously to contribute to the sport, but I think my passion on this next 4 years, if I'm reelected, is supporting or finding a way to support the local match director. We have a whole bunch of resources at the website that are not really connected with each other. There needs to be a one-stop orientation and ongoing training program for the local person. I mean, I think when I got asked to be match director, I didn't know anything about stage design, squatting people, doing a financial report, how to upload scores. As you know, as our sport, our sport is a multi-layered item, and every time you peel away one layer, there's something else to learn. and I'd rather not have match directors have to do as I did by learn through trial and error. We've got a lot of great resources, and for example, the stage design library that just went online, fantastic. But it's a little bit like a scavenger hunt. There are pieces here and there. We need to pull it together and be able to make that available, not just available to match directors, but show them how to do the job.
Okay, and that's something that, as an area director on the board, you want to try to accomplish while you're on the board there. Is there anything else?
I would say that's one big piece.
One big piece.
If
Okay.
I can do that, and of course, there's always the other. I hate to say ancillary things, but making sure that the organization is financially stable, that we have succession planning for our key staff. Those are the ongoing things of any organization.
So there's been some back and forth on the financial stability of the org. And I know some of the answers that were answered on the website were months and months ago, before the latest approval of the deficit budget. So is there, how do I ask this question? What do you think can be done to help move us in a direction of not needing deficit budget?
Okay, so a deficit budget was approved, though my reading of the way things are going is that we will probably end up not having a deficit this year. Of course, obviously it depends on price of gas, ammunition availability, people going to our matches. We have to look at revenue, and one of the things we do have to look at is our dues structure. I mean, our dues have been $40 since the mid-1990s.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you have to be a mathematical genius to realize that $40 today is not $40 in 1995,
mm-hmm.
right? And of course, in addition to that, the cost of everything has gone up. Cost of health insurance for the staff has gone up. We have to give people pay raises. We live it in our daily lives. Costs go up, and they have gone up over the last 40 years. Now, what has kind of masked that is starting about 4 years ago under the Mike Foley administration, we experienced great growth in the membership. We went from an average of about 25,000 members to right now we're just under 36,000 members. So that additional dues helped not mask, but or camouflage the fact that $40 doesn't go as far as anymore. So over the last, couple of years, we have been fairly stable again at 35,000 people, yet costs continue to go up. Mm-hmm. So this definitely we have to look at something about dues, maybe how we trimming some costs, for example, in publishing the USPSA magazine. I think it'd be nice to try to encourage people to go to the digital version there, but in the scheme of things, that's kind of small dollars.
Sure.
Yeah. So getting people to join our sport, shoot our sport, and retaining people in our sport. So, Bill, you're essentially in sales, and you understand that it's more difficult to bring on a new customer than to retain a customer, right?
My business model is completely different, bro. I'm just mean to everybody, and they think I'm joking, so they buy things from me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I in my non-USPSA life, I'm in sales, and it's
Sure.
just as important to retain customers as to bring on new ones. And we have many people, surprisingly, that join USPSA and never shoot a match.
Hmm.
And we have many people who join and don't renew. And I'd like to find out why that is and see if we can close that back door a little bit.
So as far as raising the dues, I understand where you're coming from. What do you think the product of USPSA is, and is there something more that we can offer from the organization to a paying customer?
Good question. So I think we need to perhaps look at expanding the kind of sports that we do. You know, we originally started with a handgun, multi-gun. Steel challenge has really exploded. Is there another aspect of the shooting sports that perhaps we could either acquire or start ourselves? And also, you know, look at what activities we are really good at, right? So something that we have struggled with as long as I've been on the board is multi-gun. Okay, multi-gun has a relatively small number of people. It's expensive to shoot. It's expensive to put on that multi-gun nationals match. Is there a way that we can either get more people into multi-gun and into multi-gun in a way that they're actually uploading our scores into USPSA and paying an activity fee?
Mm-hmm.
I suspect we might be able to do that in the same way that Steel Challenge became popular, by establishing a classification system for it. But my instinct is that multi-gun we can do more with. Is probably never going to be at the same level as handgun or Steel Challenge. It's a more expensive sport to do, more cumbersome, harder for a match director to put on. I put on a multi-gun match, a couple of them locally in Augusta, and it's not 3 times the work. It's like 5 times the work to put on that match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind all the extra props and things you need.
Yes.
So I guess the question is trying to get you, what is it that we offer the local guy that doesn't go to level 2s and level 3s as a product? Like why should they sign up? And is there something we can offer those guys more than we do?
Yeah. And that's has been on the periphery of discussion for about the last year. What can that be beyond the concise rule book, the classifier system? Those are the 2 bread and butter products that we offer. And,
sure.
And it's a question that Jake Martins pushes back to us all the time. What does my $40 buy me as the local guy?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let's bring it back to your area, because that's what this is about. Well, that's what you would be representing again is your area. So in your 4 years, other than your activities on the board with bylaws and things like that, what have you done to help improve your area?
Well, I try hard, as I mentioned earlier, to find people who are good, smart, and get them into the range officer program, get them to work at matches, get them to work at nationals. And we've had a number of those people here in the Area 7. I'm thinking, Devin McManus. I don't know if you've met Devin. Linda Poole from my own club, who's gone from not shooting our sport at all 2.5 years ago to working nationals. And you see, part of the trick is, I mean, I hate to think about it, but I'm getting old. Right?
Don't we all?
Yeah. And you take when I know Troy tries to do this when he's staffing nationals. The ideal RO squad is you got the experienced guy as a CRO, you got the other RO that's been in there 3 or 4 years that's been doing nationals, and then you bring on that rookie that's never been there before. And sometimes it's probably better that I don't get picked to go to nationals, because that creates a slot for somebody else to come in and step up. So that's really, other than serving on the board of directors and helping to do the strategy of the organization, identifying those people and working with them and encouraging them is top priority.
And that's fantastic. Is there anything else you've been able to accomplish as area director to help support the area? Is there anything that you think you can do moving forward if you are reelected?
Oh boy. Well, the 2 jobs of the area director, other than serving on the board of directors, is to make certain that a quality area match happens every year. And in Area 7, that is a challenge, because there are only 2 states that are capable of putting on a an unrestricted area match, Maine and New Hampshire. Everybody else has got magazine restrictions, which, by the way, has been somewhat of a topic over the last
Has it been?
few weeks. Yeah.
I haven't heard anything. Well,
Yeah.
now let's just touch that while we're here. And my understanding is the board meeting for that discussion might happen has not happened yet. Is that correct?
The official discussion has not yet happened.
Okay. So it's more like what the hell's going on type of discussions, and not a sit down and talk about it as an organization.
There have been informal discussions among ourselves, and I probably get 1 or 2 emails a day from people in Area 7 that I pick up the phone and call and talk to them. Yeah.
Sure. So back to Area 7. I just wanted to touch on that because I knew people were going to ask about it. But
Yeah.
So back to, it's either Maine or New Hampshire, and I know I'm driving to Maine twice this year, so I know it's in Maine.
Yeah.
So you were talking about one of the major roles of area directors to run the area match.
Well, to make sure one happens, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fair point.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then what was the other?
Well, the other listed job description is to serve as the representative to our membership on the board of directors, be their voice. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to section coordinators and stuff like that, do you, as an area director, you know it's not like a job title? Is that not like a accepted role, is to help support those guys and maybe facilitate discussions?
Yes, and it's interesting is the chain of command in USPSA is the area director is not in charge of the section coordinators.
No.
The section coordinators are freestanding people who are elected by the people in their section. And
right.
And I spend, surprisingly, the 3 guys who are the section coordinators are pretty capable. And I probably hear from them maybe once a month at that, because they're good and they know the answers. But occasionally they'll have a question or something that they don't know. So I'm usually their first stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's an informal thing. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that the area director has no actual control over anything that really happens in the area other than the area championship.
That is correct. It is.
Now, did you guys?
Yeah, it is not a military chain of command thing.
No. I mean, it is up to the section coordinator. Then after that, you're on your own.
Yes.
Did you guys do a Steel Challenge Championship this year?
We had one last year, and we have another one next month. Our second one, yes. And
nice.
That's at the Pioneer Club in New Hampshire.
Okay. Right. Awesome. I'm glad that club is still having a match, so that's awesome. Let's see. It was about the area, and that's all of the questions I had for you, man. I haven't gotten a lot of questions on here from people that are looking to ask you things for themselves. Is there anything else you want the people that might be watching from Area 7 to know about you and why you want to be area director again?
Well, my wife asked me why I want to be area director again. And sometimes people say it's a thankless job, but it really isn't. Just about every match I go to, 1 or 2 people come up to me and say thanks for taking the time out. And I actually do get a lot of good, constructive comments and suggestions. For example, we have a Steel Challenge key person up here named Dave Parker, who he and several friends have put together a proposition for adding rimfire revolver as a division in Steel Challenge. Well, the revolver guys are a passionate group, and they've put together a rational proposal, and we'll be having a meeting of the Rules Committee next month, and that's going to be on the agenda. So
now, is I-Corps pretty thick up in the New England area?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that might have went hand in hand. Okay.
No.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, you see, the revolver guys really are not happy with the fact that with rimfire revolver, they're competing against semi-autos.
Mm-hmm.
and their pitch is that they want to add not so much a new revolver division, but a new rimfire division. And I can see that. Of course, the challenge with revolver at any level is the participation is low. I think even in USPSA, it's less than 2% of the activities are revolver, and you're talking about splitting up an already kind of narrow division. But you know what? These guys have spent a lot of time on the proposal, and I'm going to back them on it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to propose it. So
why not?
Yeah. So, okay. That was really quick as far as the interview went. I didn't really have any questions from anybody that was anything other than more than like little kid stuff. Let me see here. No, nothing there. Double checking. Yeah, no meeting for High Cap Nationals has happened yet. Okay. All right. Well, Lee, thank you very much for coming on. Sorry I didn't have like harder questions, I guess, but the area director role is pretty concise. It's just a matter of telling people what it is that you want to do and why you want to be area director again.
Yeah, and you know, I think that in a way the reality is I would bet that 4/5 of the people who shoot our sport everywhere, including up here, are unaware there's even something called an area director. It's like for people who golf. Are they aware of how the PGA is structured administratively? I bet they don't. And why should they care? Because they go to the golf course and have a set of rules and play golf. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that shoot our sport come out, they want to have a fun, safe time, equitable competition, and they have no clue about the administrative structure of the org. And that's fine. I suspect out of the 35,000, 36,000 people in the organization, there's maybe 1,000 people like you and I that are into it beyond just calling two alphas.
It's a double, damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing here is to try to get people that are in the middle road of kind of interested, but don't really know where to find a source of information. Yeah. Provide them that source of information, let you guys have your say. So, well, dude, thank you very much for coming on and good luck. I know the election has already started, so good luck with the election. Let's get people voting.
Okay, thanks, Bill, and I'll see you up here in Hamden in in a couple more weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's like it might be closer to 5 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
Soon. Try it.
All right, buddy. All right, Bill. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.